It took me a while to figure out why, and it goes back to Roszak. When he taught us how to weld, he taught us how to make Rozaks. And his work was very Baroque and very gloppy. It was all brazed, very rough surfaces. And when I got my first studio and started working, I really tried, I wanted to get away from that as much as I could. And I went further and further and further and really became pretty much of a minimalist, where you really couldn't, the pieces were really quite cool. You couldn't tell how they were put together. We had a falling out because he felt I was no longer his disciple. We went through this whole period, which was difficult for me because I felt, so happy to have found him in my life because I discovered I was a sculptor because of him. And then when I had my second one-person show at Werner Heller in 1982, I had sent him an announcement. He called and he said, I'm sorry I can't come. He was sick, and he said, I can't get up the stairs. But I want you to know I'm so proud of you. You're stuck to your guns. You've worked it out. You've done it on your own. You've found your own vocabulary, and I'm really so proud of you. It's really marvelous. And in the fall, when I come back from the summers, was in April, he said, I'll come to your studio. He knew there were no stairs. And I'll look at the work. And then he died before the fall. And I was so pleased that we sort of had this reconciliation with this, and I was very saddened, that he had died at that point. And then I started working on a new series of pieces, and I was welding one day, and I was about to start grinding down this weld, and I looked at it and I said, well, I want to grind this down. It's really very beautiful. And in fact, it would be nice if it were bigger, and if it was even more expressive of the fact that these two pieces are joined together here, rather than there are two pieces joined together here, where I've covered it because I felt it should be. So I started working with these welds that became more and more expressive and dynamic of the actual process of welding. And a few months ago, I was thinking about it, and I thought, good Lord, this is the kind of welding that Roszak used to do, but in a very different way. He used to cover his entire surfaces with this. But I realized that since we'd had that reconciliation, and of course then he died, I was free to use some of his technique in my way, and I don't think it would have happened if this chronology hadn't happened.